All right. Okay. Hey, there's somebody. So, if anybody can hear me, this is my first time doing live video, and I was in a hurry to set up the encoder and get everything running right. I think I got it. So, can everybody hear me? Anybody who's here watching? How many people are watching? Does it tell me? I see one guy commented. Let me see here. Okay, we got a couple people here. So thumbs up if you can hear. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes. Okay, cool. What about this? Because my mic is close to my keyboard, and I was thinking if I start typing, it might be super loud. Is this like hurting your ears when I type? I just want to be aware of how my setup is here before we get started. So there's a yes comment, but I'm not sure if it means yes that hurt my ears or yes we can hear you. Okay, so somebody let me know. There might be a little bit of a lag too. So just if somebody lets me know if something seems like it's not working right, then I can fix it for the next time. So, okay, cool, thanks. All right. Well, this is fun. Okay, so the plan for these live streams is basically going to be, I'm going to, through the week, be getting some ideas about a few things I can talk with people about, and I'm studying cryptos, looking for projects, looking for trades, setups, token sales, good yield farming stuff, NFTs. I'm looking for all that stuff. So when I find what I think are like, solid deals, I'll share it with you. So I'll be sharing those gems in these videos. And then I just want to be here to help people because more and more and more new people are coming into crypto. Friends keep asking me questions. And I thought if I could make a series of videos just fielding questions from crypto noobs. I'm not an expert in everything, but I'm pretty well-rounded in everything crypto. And if I'm not an expert, I'll point you to who the experts are because there's so much going on and some people really specialize in one field and you can increase your learning curve or save a lot of time by discerning and extracting the nuggets from the few people that are experts in field in certain areas, certain sectors of crypto without having to know everything. And so you take what they say as a base for your own research and you go from there. And when you've been in crypto long enough, some of it becomes somewhat intuitive. I don't want to rely too much on feelings or senses, but sometimes you can tell if a project is going to be good or just by intuition, or you can know a coin is going to move. By, I would say, intuition combined with information. When you get certain information and you piece it together, you could start building a picture of what you think is likely to happen. And there's once in a while where you feel like you just know it. And, I have those moments once in a while. So I hesitate to share them. Sometimes I tweet them and then I think, oh my gosh, I put that out there. And it ends up being right. A lot of times when I have those kind of really sure moments about where I think something's going to move. But so yeah. And also like during the week, I'm a list maker. It helps me think clearly. When I start getting ideas, I just start jotting them down on lists. So I start, in case nobody showed up to my first live stream, I thought I would have some ideas to possibly talk about. So if we ever need to, just learn something or explore something together, then I have a list of ideas that I'll be keeping through the week. So I always have something fresh to talk about. Okay, and I have a couple projects that I found I'm going to share with you guys that I think you guys might like. But before that, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and type them in the chat box, and we'll go from there. Actually, I just realized from the time I speak to the time it goes live on YouTube, there's a big lag. So you guys could just type away. Anytime you think of any questions, just type them and I'll get to as many of them as I can. So why do you think ADA has been so sluggish of late? Okay, well, you know, if you go on Facebook and you go to the ADA page, a lot of those guys, you can see they haven't been in crypto long, and they're talking about why isn't ADA moving? Why isn't ADA pumping? Well, the thing is with crypto, these long-term projects, I mean, I was holding ADA for over 3 years waiting for something to happen, you know, instead of just go down. But basically, like these long-term building projects, they're building real, fundamentally strong, you know, projects for the long term, and that takes time, and everything is kind of contingent upon what Bitcoin is doing. And then the market kind of rotates through these different times of hype. What's hot at the moment? Right now, a lot of people are talking about Polkadot or MOVR. And so, you know, Cardano has a very, you know, it's number 5 right now. It was number 3 earlier this year. It has a very, very strong community of diehards. It's like the largest, by percentage, stakers of a decentralized coin. Sometimes Solana has a higher percentage of staked coins than Cardano lately, but Solana is much more centralized than Cardano is. So if you take a decentralized proof of stake coin, Cardano is number 1 in percentage stake. It's over 70%, I believe. There's a website called Staking Rewards. Whoops, is it loading? My computer's a little slow because of this live stream. So soon I'm getting a new MacBook. I'm waiting for those M2 chips to come out. So yeah, you go to stakingrewards.com and they have a chart that shows the percentage of staked coins. So back to Cardano. Well, I just watched a video by Crypto Crown. He's a trader I highly respect. I've followed him for a few years. I watched a ton of his videos. He's an excellent analyst. Not always right, of course, but he knows that, and that's not the point of technical analysis. Isn't always being right. It's being charting probabilities and breaks of support and resistance, trading those, or bounces on support and resistance, and trading ranges. There's different strategies, of course, but it's not about predicting everything. So anyways, but he showed some indicators on Cardano on the chart that show that big move is coming because the volatility is super low. And so if you're waiting on something to move like Cardano, you just have to be patient sometimes, and eventually you just keep holding it and it's going to pop off. I think it's coming pretty soon myself. Personally, Cardano is my favorite coin, but I have none of it right now. Earlier this year, I had a bunch of it when it ran up. You know, had a big run up. But my goal right now is to be in more middle cap and even a larger allocation to some micro caps or in between micro and mid caps, because I'm looking for percentage gains to then reallocate into my favorite long-term hold projects after we've topped this market and in the bear. That's one thing I had set aside to possibly share with you guys, was what are my plans for after we top. I don't know if I'll get into that today or next time, but you know, because we're not in a hurry. That's not going to happen in 1 week, and I'm going to do these videos every Saturday. So right here, like I said, Solana's beating Cardano in staking percentage. It's at 78. Cardano's at 70. But it's much more centralized. That's one of the things that makes it fast when you have the trilemma of blockchain with security, speed, and what's the third quarter of the trilemma? It's scalability. So, or no, that's with speed. Security, scalability, and oh man, my mind's going blank. Okay, it's not interoperability. No. Anyway, so there's, when you have one area of these three parts of a blockchain that's stronger than the others, there's trade-offs. So to make something faster, sometimes it has to be less decentralized. Oh, that's what it is. It's decentralization, security, and scalability or speed. So, you know, it's faster because it's more centralized. Yes, somebody just wrote that. Thank you. Okay, so and then also be aware of like the major coins, the top 10 or top 20 coins, some of the big chain coins like Cardano, Polkadot, Cosmos, Avalanche has had some big runs lately. Usually Bitcoin moves, you know, has its big push, gets through some resistance areas, and then it will kind of chop sideways. Dominance will come down and the major coins will pump. You know, and then the whales and the traders with a lot of money, they'll start rotating profits into the middle cap coins. And then those pump, some of those. But it's always, some of them always pump more than others, and sometimes it seems random. Like Cardano reminds me of kind of like Litecoin. It like seems like it takes forever to move, but eventually it pops off. And so it's really hard to predict which one in a group is going to be the one that pops off. Unless you're doing market scans and analyzing charts, you know, you're looking for a good setup, number one, or you are sniffing out for hype. You know, what are people excited about? What has a big launch event coming up? Things like that. I hope that answered your question about Cardano, but I'm investing in more projects that are on Cardano, because when you invest in microcaps that are on Cardano, it's like a leveraged position in Cardano without the risk of being liquidated, right? For example, I really like the project Rune as well, because they're all about, their philosophy is all about decentralization. So when I like a project, I'm all about the philosophy behind it, not just making money. I believe in making money if it's done with integrity, not just investing in some junk coin to pump it and make money. I don't like that, but I like investing in projects you know, with some integrity, with some philosophy behind them, that are providing real value to the world. And there's nothing wrong with profiting off of something that's providing real value for people. So I'm invested in like C3 or Card Starter or Akamfi, or I've been waiting forever for Sunday Swap. There's a couple other DEXs that are going to be launched on Cardano. I have a few different Cardano NFTs as well. So, and then back to Rune, they're launching the Thor starters, launching their coin on November 1st. So I can actually show you that. Let me see, where did I have it? Okay, so you have to have X Rune, because that's for Thor starter, right? So you have to have 100 of these staked in the governance dashboard. So you can buy X Rune on SushiSwap. That's the easiest way. You can also buy it on where'd that noise come from? You can also buy it on Thor starter. But if you're not used to using the XDeFi wallet, just go with MetaMask. Get 100 X Rune on SushiSwap, and then you stake 100 of them here. And if you're staking 100 of them here, then you're eligible for the token sale. There's going to be 3 rounds. The first round is through Thor starter, and you have to have X Rune to buy some. $300 worth is the maximum allocation. So I got a little more because the price is pumping, and then I can have a little bit saved for another future sale as well. And then round 2 of the token sale is going to be November 3rd, and you don't have to have any X Rune for that. You just have to have Rune, and you have to have that in the XDeFi wallet. And you'll go to Thor swap, not for a starter. There's so many different Thors. And you put rune into the farming pool, and they basically, I believe this is how they did it last time with X-Rune, is they convert half your rune into Thor, and then you're in the liquidity pool, and that's how you buy your, you know, however much rune you put in, half of that becomes Thor, and that's your investment in Thor. I did that with X-Rune, and more than tripled my money in there in a short amount of time. Okay, so let's see. What other questions we got? Why do you think ADA, any thoughts on Telcoin? Yeah, Telcoin, that's the Telegram coin, right? Well, that's yeah, I'm not a fan. Like I said, I'm about the philosophy behind projects, and when projects raise millions, like tens of millions of dollars, like back in 2018, they were raising $50 million, $100 million, even more. And 50 was high, considered high. Like 30 seemed reasonable. Nowadays, projects are raising like 3 to 6 million, you know, and they're talking about it like it's normal. It makes you realize, wow, how much stuff can be built with just a few $1 million. Why do you need to raise that much money? And I have no idea how much they raised, but it was like a record setter, and it was an ungodly amount, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan of it. It's like, why? So, that's about all I know about it. I don't even know if they're doing anything with it. I use Telegram every day, and I don't see anything about this coin. It kind of reminds me of the BitTorrent coin, BTT. It's like, well, it's launched by Tron, and who's doing anything with it? I use torrents. I don't ever see this token. I don't ever need it. So, I don't know. I don't know what it's for, what their plan is. But with that much money, you would imagine they would have had something done by now, because this was launched when? Like, I guess my attitude toward this, no offense, is I don't know and I don't care. It's like February 2018. What's it doing? Are they doing anything? I don't know. It's not that it's, I'm not saying it's not going to pump. I mean, look at that. That was a giant. This was in January 2021 right here. So, yeah, like this whole market, I believe, we're going higher. Bitcoin's going to break 100K, maybe even 200K within the next 3 to 5 months. And, or 2 to 5 months, I think. So a lot of these microcaps are going to blow their previous all-time highs out of the water, and this one shouldn't be any exception. If you look at this, I mean, it's already had massive gains. It's ranked 105. I don't know. I just think there's much more better projects, in my opinion, that will get the same returns. So you have so many options. So why not invest in one that's a little more, I would, not only ethical, but sure. I think there's projects that are much more sure to do better. Because there's a lot of competition of projects that are ranked lower than 105, and I think that it can blow past Telcoin easily. What was it that I was looking for here? I opened it already. Telcoin website. Send money smarter. It's for transactions. So they're trying to be like a Cash App on Telegram. Okay, remittances. We'll see. We'll see what they can do it. Okay, VAT looks bullish. They partnered with DHL. Your thoughts? VAT is a decent project. I've always been a fan of Morpheus, which recently, I actually bought Morpheus like pre-sale. I had it for a long time, and I made a little profit on it, and I got out, and recently I had a huge pump. So because I was such a big fan of Morpheus, and in those days I wasn't, if something was just hyped, like everybody was hyped, like Tron, they were all trying to hype Tron, it just turned me off. And I kind of got that vibe with VET. It was like everybody was in your face trying to hype it, like the XRP army or something. But and then I saw one video where nobody even knew where their office was. Some guy went searching for it and couldn't find it. See the Morpheus, look what it did. And I got out of it back here somewhere. Anyway, I think it's a good project though. I think VET is a decent project. It has potential, but it's already number 23. So what I would say about VET is, like, if Bitcoin does a 3 or 4x in the upcoming few months, these coins in the top 20, top 30, they might do a 5x, 7x, depending, or they might get passed up by other projects. It'll likely go up at least 3x. So, I mean, I would imagine. Of course, anything can happen. It's cryptocurrency. It can go down and go to zero. So always keep that in mind when people are making their moon boy predictions. So those are my thoughts. And like I said, take my thoughts and maybe use it as input for making your own decisions, because you're free to disagree with me. I could be totally wrong. But I do think this will go up. I think it's a decent project. In the beginning, I had a bad impression from it. Maybe my impression was wrong. So I just never got interested. There's some projects you just can't get into. There's too many. And you just don't have the bandwidth to research everything. So, but from what I have researched, I think it's decent. It's not a favorite, but it's decent. So, yeah, I would say, I'm guessing 4 to 7x max, something like that. So I would, if we go to the front page of CoinGecko, now if you're somebody who really believes in the project and you're just going to hold it for 3 to 5 years or more, I imagine you do well with it if they succeed in getting traction, because eventually, some of these are going to start getting real adoption in time, as more people start coming into crypto, not just to invest, but to use the coins for what they do. That's what we're seeing in DeFi, and that's what we're starting to see in like PT gaming and stuff. So, like, if I had to choose between, like, Filecoin, I kind of put that in the Telcoin category, and then where's VT at? Okay, 23. So, like, these 3 projects right here, ones I like. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Polygon, just because Binance, the original launch, they had like 40% of the tokens, and they're like the largest validator, I believe, which I really don't like. And I know Chico Crypto doesn't like that either, because he's all about decentralization, but he's also a huge Ethereum moon boy, so he kind of will tend to critique anything that's not Ethereum. But the funny thing is, what I was going to show you is he loves Alchemist, and he turned me on to Alchemist, which has done very well for me, and it's one of my favorite projects. They have, I think, some of the smartest Ethereum developers around, from my limited knowledge in Ethereum developers, but from what I've seen them build and how fast they build stuff and put stuff together, it's just brilliant. These guys are really top notch. And Alchemist has a launch pad also called Copper, I think it's called. And I saw I staked this with Ethereum. That's actually, that's osmosis. Everything's the same color. Okay, this one, Alchemist. I stake it there, and like, I first got in this at $60, and then I got more when the price went down. So I'm up on all my investments there. Not like crazy up, but this thing, something like this, market cap of 150, 360, this could easily be a top 100 coin. So you're looking at much bigger percentage gains potential. And if you go to their website, they have the Copper Launchpad. I don't have to open it up and show you everything, but the reason I'm opening it up, because Chico Crypto talk about the project they launched, which is called Clima, and this is on Polygon, and Chico had a little tutorial I'm not trying to call him out. I just thought it was funny because he had a little tutorial about how to transfer your coins to Polygon and stake. And before he would talk about Polygon like he wouldn't touch it, you know. And I can understand why. I'm not a fan of it for the same reason, but I invested in it because I saw the adoption potential. And I was working for a marketing company at the time that was working for them. And I just saw the gas fees on Ethereum and saw MATIC was kind of battling with XDAI, and I thought it's going to be one of these two that people start using. And it wound up being MATIC. Because XDAI is not doing much, I don't think. So anyways, this thing has, right here you can see 32,000%, and that's in a one-sided staking pool, so there's no risk of a permanent loss. And they have to do with selling carbon credits, which is really interesting actually. This is some really like advanced math stuff. I don't fully understand it actually, but there was a CEO that I follow who talks about, he would mention how carbon credits were going to be big in the future. And so anyways, I picked up some of this and it's compounding and it's doing great. And I've only been in there a couple days, but this is a micro cap. So this, you know, could go to 0 or it could 1000x or something, you know. So I try to allocate my portfolio between, have some in some of the like top, you know, 30 to 50 coins. I try to stay away from the top 10 because I don't think they're going to go up as much, but I do have a little Bitcoin. And then by putting some money in those coins, putting some in the mid caps and some in the micro caps, I spread my risk out. And then I do that on different blockchains and different platforms. So like if I get rug pulled in one, it's going to sting, but you know, it won't be the end of the world. So that's kind of how I manage my portfolio. And then my plan is that I'm taking profits as I would go up, ultimately to be consolidating in fewer positions. And somewhere near the top, once I believe that a top has been confirmed, I'll exit completely with a position in stablecoin, position in Bitcoin, a position in gold, and then I'll be shorting the whole market in 3 different positions. That's my plan. And then I'll be trading my Bitcoin and my stablecoin, trading ranges on the way down. Okay. So here's the Climate Dow. It's got a market, I don't even know what its market cap is. You can calculate it if you go to the analytics page, I think, but I'm not sure what it is. They haven't even started charting it here. I think you could see a chart of it on CoinMarketCap, but you know, we're only 150% up. And if this thing is connected to Alchemist, you know, who knows when somebody's going to tweet something out and it's going to go kablooey. Okay. It's really hard to understand valuation in crypto and use case in comparison to other markets. Right, because in stocks, you look at earnings reports. Well, if you look at gold, it's basically simply supply and demand. But as far as use case, okay, this is something to evaluate. Kind of, I think, takes experience. But basically, what you want to ask when you're looking at a project is there a product market fit? Is this something the market is ready for? I saw a lot of projects that I thought were genius ideas, but the market wasn't ready for them. Not enough people trusted crypto, and there was, you know, in late 2017, early 2018, projects everywhere. So even if it was a great idea, it was easily to fall, you know, easily to just get lost in all the noise. So, and people have been talking about how to evaluate these. Is it overvalued? Is it undervalued? Well, that's why, like Bitcoin, if you go to glassnode.com, they have a bunch of different types of charts for evaluating Bitcoin based on different macro indicators and on-chain analysis. So instead of earning reports, they use the macro reports for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's ledger is public. So how do you do that with a privacy coin? How do you do that with, you know, any other type of coin with different utility? Well, the market speculation is what drives the market, and this market is heavily correlated to what Bitcoin's doing. In the future, that'll probably be less, even though I believe that Bitcoin will retain its market share as digital gold. That's one thing I think people really forget. They're like, Bitcoin won't always be number one. Ethereum's going to be the Bitcoin eater or whatever. And it's like, what does that matter? They're two different things. Bitcoin... Well, now actually with Rootstock, you can do smart contracts on Bitcoin. So there's room for scalability there in the applications, which is actually, it might not seem like a threat, but it is a threat to Ethereum, I think. At least not in like defeating Ethereum completely, but taking a chunk of its market share, because Bitcoin has that security proposition and the Lindy effects, right? You know, everybody knows about it. So... because the market is kind of based on what Bitcoin's doing and moved by Bitcoin, and it's moved by manipulation, by whales pumping coins and all this, well, you're trying to basically evaluate what is the market doing on the macro and ride the wave, you know, and then find projects that are quality that you think other people are going to believe in as well. So when other people believe in this coin, or this coin has hype, you just ride that wave, right? That's why, like I said, I'm holding no Cardano right now, because I'm in smaller coins, so that because my goal is to outperform Cardano and get more Cardano later for a long-term position. Anyways, you know, that's a little more risky, but I have high risk tolerance. But when you start seeing like Axie Infinity has adoption because of the play to earn, some kids in like third world countries are making a living playing this game, and so we're starting to see adoption happen with DeFi. There's a real use case that people are really using, staking their coins to earn fees, to earn rewards, to compound their yield, and all of that. So that's a real product market fit that people already into crypto are really making the most of. NFTs have a whole different utility. That market is really immature. It's really new. So I think like with 2018, we saw projects everywhere, and they were doing hokey stuff, and there was scams, and there was mania, overvaluation, speculation. It's the same thing with NFTs. And I think in 3 years, maybe 2 years, everyone's going to look back, and it will be more mature. They'll have better ways to launch, better structures for the NFT in general. So looking through studying NFTs, there's so many different utilities, like staking, membership into a thing. You can get physical merch if you have the NFT. You can, you get royalties if you're the one to mint it. You know, they're being used in all kinds of clever games and stuff. The different types of utility goes on and on and on. But when you have, like, for example, Cardano or Ethereum or Cosmos, you have a base layer, or Avalanche, you know, you have the base layer, and then you have all the token protocols on front of it with their own, on top of it with their own token for use in that platform. And this is what they call fat protocols. Like when you have the internet and you have all the websites built on top of it, all the value, the internet's not making any money. You know, the internet actually shares all the network effects. So that's how valuable the internet is, but it's not profiting anybody. All the websites are capturing the value, right? The individual websites. But with Ethereum, let's say you have 10 apps on Ethereum. Well, 3 of them will do really well. 3 of them will do mediocre, and the other 4 will do poorly. But Ethereum is capturing a percentage of all the value, a small percentage of the aggregate value of all the dApps on it. So, so that's just another thing to consider when you're evaluating what you think something is worth. Another thing you can do, since we don't have like earnings report, or we don't have robust on-chain analysis for a lot of these coins like we do for Bitcoin, is you can simply compare market caps. So, you know, say you're an Avalanche, Moonboy. Where's Avalanche? Whoops. say you're an Avalanche Moon Boy, you look at the market cap and you think Avalanche is going to overtake Cardano. Okay, so it's a 750 million market cap. You go here, and you could say, I think conservatively, let's say the whole market's pumps, right? And it doubles, and Cardano doubles. So Cardano gets to 3 billion. All right, so let's say, and then we say, I think Avalanche could get to 3 billion and pass Cardano in this bull run. This is all just for example. And that's a 4x plus, right? No, that's about, what's 750? That's about a 4x. Okay, so Cardano would do a 2x, Avalanche would do a 4x in percentage gain. So market caps and percentage moves is what matters. Coin price don't matter. Coin price, what matters is inflation, unlock schedules, when more coins are coming on the market. So you should look at vesting schedules. If early investors had coins, when are they going to be unlocked? How much are being mined every day? Is the amount that's being mined or staking rewards, is it going down over time? How does all that work? You should know this about every coin, that if you're a long-term investor. If you're doing short-term trades, you don't need to know any fundamentals. You just study the charts. And I have kind of a combination of fundamentals and chart, kind of a swing trader with a long-term investment thesis in the back of my mind with some goals. So anyway, so you could basically, you're saying, you know, this is all driven on speculation. All this market's driven on speculation and hype and hopium, right? Let's say that you think that. There's no real utility. There is, but it's small. And just imagine, just imagine when these kick in and it becomes like the payment currency of several nations, even if they're smaller nations, or, you know, more and more dApps on them start getting used. I mean, that's happening. dApps aren't being used on Cardano yet, and it's number 5. dApps are being used on Ethereum and Solana. Not XRP's not doing nothing. Polkadot's coming soon, and it's number 8. So this could really move up. But another thing to keep in mind is when you get up here, it gets harder and harder to move up because the gaps between the market caps are wider, right? So anyway, my point is even if you think it's all speculatively driven, you can still compare market caps and you can set targets, not necessarily by price level on a chart. You can set goals in market cap. That's a more, actually, I think, sophisticated way to set targets as an investor, not necessarily as a trader. But so these are all, basically you should always evaluate Bitcoin and chart Bitcoin. That's first. That's fundamental. See what Bitcoin is doing in dominance. You know, you can, this is like this right here, SHIT perp. That's a chart of all the altcoins, right? So you want to first be charting Bitcoin. You want to be paying attention to Bitcoin's dominance. See what it's doing, because if this is going down, the alts are going to go up. If this is going up, the alts aren't really going to move. But if Bitcoin's going down and this is going up, the alts are going to bleed hard. So this is really important. That's why I keep this always 4 charts open, so I can look at 2 charts, 2 coins I want to watch. I can watch Bitcoin and I can watch Bitcoin's dominance. And I should always be charting other coins, like for example, right here, Dogecoin is in this apex, right? So it's going to move, it's going to break out of here, up or down. But that's probably not contingent upon just this Dogecoin chart. That's going to depend on what this does, what Bitcoin does, and what this does. How the whales are rotating money around in the market. And this is what tells you what they're doing. The dominance tells you what the whales are doing. Okay. I hope that helped for valuations. In the future, we'll have more ways to evaluate them. With DeFi, you can compare yields. You can also study the tokenomics and ask if it has long-term sustainability. Like some of them are just throwing their coins out like crazy. What is their plan? Sometimes they offer high rewards in the beginning, but then they start tapering them off. But they also have to compete with all the other dexes that are out there. So, they keep things juicy by incentivizing new liquidity providers with rewards, but they can't do that forever. I mean, they can if they don't have a fixed supply of coins, but that's going to really, inflate that thing. So that's what I would say for evaluating coins. It's tough, it's about awareness of the market, of adoption that's happening, of the different types of utility, the tokenomics, comparing it to market caps of other coins, and seeing what the whole market in general is doing based on what Bitcoin is doing. So, I think the number one indicator, because it hasn't really been adopted, like less than 2% of the world is using crypto now. Maybe it's past 2%, but it's low. And is to just find the hype train. If you're looking for short-term flips, find the short-term hype train. If you're looking for long-term holds, look for strong communities and developers that are seriously doing something. That's what it basically boils down to. And in time, maybe the market's not ready for it today, but everybody's building metaverse stuff right now. It's everywhere. And the world is changing so fast right now. So it'll be ready. It'll be ready for this stuff before we know it. So, Miss, do you think if it will go moon this time until bears, or is it just long term? I definitely think there's some upside on Mist. I think it could, it's hard to say with getting confused by these purple tabs. I'm not going to say with 100% certainty, but what I see them building, and just the quality and the aptitude of the developers, I think it could be a top 100 coin. Actually, I think this coin can help save Ethereum with some of the tech they're building because of front running and gas fees and stuff like that. So unless Ethereum has its upgrade and the fees go way down and everything, but they're just building some really super cool stuff here, and they're doing what none of the other dexes are doing. What Uniswap or SushiSwap or Balancer or any of those guys. These guys are very unique, and they're better in my opinion. So. And they really, what I really like about them is part of their philosophy is always funneling value back to their holders. And I've seen that a number of times where they're trying to do token sales or they were selling Ether tulips as NFTs, and a percentage of every sale went to their Crucible holders. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff like that. And they have a great community. A lot of creatives are in there with the making nice art and stuff. So it's interesting. I would look into it. But yeah, this definitely has more pumpamentals than any other coin we've mentioned, like VET or Tailcoin or Cardano. But Clima could, by percentage, Clima is a high risk coin. This could go to 0 or it could 1000x. Like I said, it's very early. So that's why you don't put all your eggs in that basket, right? Okay, what do you mean you'll be shorting the market in 3 different positions? So let's say if I have 100%, let's say I've exited the market. I was like, let's say we've had a lower high confirmed on the weekly. We hit the top of the Pi cycle indicator. People are moving their Bitcoins onto exchanges and selling. And we had a blow off top. Right, we have many signs that the market top is in. Then the market's going to crash. It's going to bounce one more time, and then it's going to confirm a local top, and then you get out. Or you can have already taken some profits before that time. But that's where you say, okay. And then, of course, if you get like a death cross or some moving average crossovers. You can look at, there's, you know, a combination of things you'd be looking at. And I would put, you know, these numbers aren't set in stone. Just off the top of my head, for example, let's say I put 20% of all those funds in Bitcoin. Let's say I just kept holding a couple of my farming positions, like my Alchemist, or I have another staking position in Persistence. Let's say I have a Quick Swap. I have a chunk in there that's just farming. So maybe I would leave just a chunk to farm, even if it's going down in value. Just leave it there to farm over the next few years until the next cycle. But that would be 10% or less of my portfolio that I would do that with. And then a 20%, say I put in Bitcoin, 20% in stable coin, so there's 50%. Or let's say I would add those three positions up to 60%. And the Bitcoin to stable coin, I would be trading ranges on the way down, like day trading. And and then the remaining 40%, I don't know the number yet exactly, 30 to 50%, I would choose 3 or 4 coins to short. Because, you know, if you put all that in one coin to short, I would look for strong setups and coins I think are going to crash hard. So basically, that's what I would be doing with the funds that I set aside for shorting. Because in potentially we have a market crash coming up, and the only way to really hedge yourself in such a condition is shorting. So, oh, and then I'd also allocate 20% into gold on paper. You can buy Pax Gold on Uniswap, you know. So quick and easy without having to hold physical gold. What is good about MOVR that ETH doesn't have? Well, it's much cheaper, for one. It's a lot of hype right now. Like I said, we pay attention to those hype cycles. MOVR and Polkadot have some big moves coming up. So like look at Akala, look at MOVR. I'm not a big Polkadot fan because I'm a Cardano moon boy, but I'd be a fool not to put something in it. So I chose MOVR. There's also Glimmer that's coming up soon. I might invest some in that. So the other thing that MOVR has that Ethereum doesn't have is a lower market cap. So it can perform more X's when it goes up. So, well, I just changed the page, but Ethereum's market cap is huge, right? So it's, let's say if Bitcoin does a 3x to be conservative, and Ethereum does a 5x from here. It's to 20 grand or 30 grand an Ethereum. Well, this thing could do a 10x or 20x. You know, it's ranked number 124. It's a relatively new project. It hasn't even been started being used yet. So that's the difference. And then they have a very strong community of developers building on it. So it should always follow the development, right? If you go to what I found last night that I wanted to share with you guys on this video, this is my little alpha drop for you. And just keep in mind, this is super risky, right? So I came across this project called Solar Beam. The ticker is Solar. This is a microcap. I mean, you can't even find the market cap on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. It's not even listed yet. So let me see if I can get this site to load. But this is the DEX that's on MOVR with the largest TVL, which isn't that high yet. It reminds me of when I was working with QuickSwap and the TVL was just pitiful. But QuickSwap had tons of skeptics. Nobody was excited about really MATIC at that time, or wasn't really looking at it, and you had to get people to pay attention, right? But right now everybody has their sights set on Kusama and MOVR and Polkadot and that whole ecosystem. I mean, a lot of big money is watching this stuff, okay? And so you come in here, and if you stake, they have different tiers. They have a Medium blog you can read. If you stake minimum 50 solar, you can get in on token sales, and you just go into the vaults, and you can choose no lockup, 7 days or 30 days. And depending on how long you lock it up, you get a higher return, and you get a higher allocation in the launch pad. So it's not only a DEX, it's a launch pad called Eclipse for the moon blocking the sun. And upcoming, they have this Polka Pet world. But you don't, I think, if I understand it correctly, you don't actually buy the tokens. You stake your MOVR and Solar LP tokens in the farming pool, and you get rewarded in these tokens. That's the kind of thing that PFI does, and it's super cool because, where's PFI at? Right here. PFI has a launch pad where you just stake your IPFI in, and then you get an allocation in the tokens that you buy with PFI. So I guess that's a little different. It's not just rewards. So, but don't quote me on this. I mentioned it in the Telegram that I think that's how it works, and none of the moderators corrected me. So I think I understood the blog right. I'm not 100% sure. But I think how it works is you stake your MOVR and your Solar in the farming pool, and you get rewarded in these tokens. That's their launch pad. And then I found something else, because they had a 400% here. But if you take your MOVR and Solar LP tokens and you put them in here, well, earlier it was 6,000%. Now it's 4,900%. And this is an auto compounder. So here they're not auto compounded. If you want to compound, well, this is locked for 30 days, so you can't compound it daily. But you can, I believe, compound the farm, whatever you're staking in the farming. Well, that's what's going in the auto compounder anyway. So this is, you come down here and basically they tell you how often it compounds. 19,800 times per year. So this auto compounder's compounding. Right now you're getting 5,000%. You pay a small fee for that, but then you can withdraw at any time, and you can put it back in here for the token sale. Bada boom, bada bing. That's what I'm planning to. Anyways, I wouldn't put all your MOVR on there. I put 2/3 of my MOVR on here, just because it's a little bit risky. And I would recommend even half or 1/3. But I saw the potential upside of this, so I went a little bit heavier on it than I would recommend to other people. So yeah, Clima and this is kind of the two little nuggets I wanted to share with people. Do your own research, of course. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot who loves crypto, and it looks like it's going to be a good thing to me. Whenever you go to these new dexes, you should always go and go into their group. I'm not even in it on that account. 1 second. It's not there either because it's not even on CoinGecko yet. So if you can't find it on CoinGecko, most likely you can find it on Twitter. Oh, somebody shared my video. Oh yeah. Oh, that's another thing I should do every video is do a little giveaway. So I'll send somebody leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of this video, and I'll randomly pick one person to send $100 in crypto to. So maybe we can grow this channel and I'll be able to do bigger giveaways in the future. I'm not really going to be working hard to grow the video, even though I might do some stuff. I'm not sure if I'll have time yet, but I just want to do the weekly videos to help people out. Solar. Okay, that's not going to be the way. Solar beam. Why did I click on this guy's account? I don't really recommend this coins that this guy shills, just an FYI. Anyway, I just follow him because you see, he always asks people, what coin should I buy today? And a bunch of people comment, and you can scroll through and find new coins to check out. Anyway, oh, these guys are hiring. Interesting. Okay, Telegram. So always go in the Telegram whenever you invest in a new DEX. Do some research. Find out who the team is. Find out if they're anonymous. If they are anonymous, try to find out why. But the number one question you should ask is if it's been audited. Because there's a lot of rug pulls in DeFi. So I've never been rug pulled yet. Except maybe once on Pancake Bunny. I'm not sure what happened there. But I always check. It should be the first thing that you, and the best way is not to come in there and just start blasting them with questions. Have you been audited? Who are you? Do some keyword searches. Check out their pinned message and find out. A lot of times people have already been asking these questions. So yeah, see, here's some people that are asking about audits. So this one says, no, so no audit yet. So this is another, they say CERTIC audit almost complete. So that's a good sign. They're having CERTIC audit them, which is probably the most reputable or well-known auditor in crypto. So if they're going through with that, that's a plus, but it's not done yet. So keep in mind, there could be a flaw in the smart contract. So you have to choose. Do I want to put my money in there now and get in earlier at a better price, or wait till it's more safe? So yeah, but there were some different indicators that told me I can trust this project, but I'm not going to give them to you because there are things that I'm willing to put my confidence in, but I wouldn't necessarily, I try to be careful about what I confidently recommend to other people. So you have to research it and make your own decision on that one. But I'll point you to it. You could check it out. Okay. Leave a comment under this video, this YouTube video, not on Twitter. Maybe I'll do something on Twitter in the future, and I'll randomly pick one person to send $100 in crypto to. Maybe I'll do some NFT giveaways in the future. So, do I have any more questions? How do you manage to keep 20% in stables? Do you remove some funds from the profitable coins? It's a problem for me. Advise me something. Gotcha. Well, I generally don't keep 20% in stables. I'm planning to put 20% in stables for the ride down, to be watching for good buys in the bear market, right? And I'll be using that to do trades, like day trades, so really short-term stuff, trying to accumulate more stables, basically. Well, if you go to DFIN, there's other projects that have good stable coin pools, but DFIN has like 30% APYs with UST, USDC, and UST/USDT. So that would be a good place to, if they're probably not going to have 30% all year, but you can put, if you go to Popular Farms, I think it is, they have these stablecoin pools, 39% and 47%. I haven't seen anything that high anywhere. So if you wanted to keep 20% of your portfolio, or even you had some dry powder set aside waiting to buy something, it's always good to have some dry powder, so that, let's say, right now everybody is like, yeah, Bitcoin's going up, everything's going up. But what if we had a 15% drop in Bitcoin? 15% drop in Bitcoin is a way bigger drop in alts, and you'll be glad you had some dry powder set aside to buy something up. And on the way up to 100K, I guarantee you we're going to have 30% pullbacks. We're going to have 15% pullbacks. So it's not a bad idea, right? Because you don't know when that's going to happen. Anything can happen. It's kind of like spreading your risk out for different possibilities. So even if you're in stablecoin, you can still be earning yield. Or if you want higher yield, you can go in with stablecoin and you can yield farm with another coin. And then if at any time you wanted to buy something, you can withdraw from that farm and use your stablecoin. Actually, these pools on DFIN aren't that fresh. They've been here for a while. I talked about these in my last video I made, and the percentage was actually, I believe it was lower. So DFIN USD. See, like here's one example of having a stable coin. These ones are actually, I think they get hit harder with impermanent loss than having two coins. I have to look that up for sure, but they always tend to have higher percentage rewards, and I think that's why, because the impermanent loss is harder. Because the stable coin can't move up. If the whole market's moving up, the stable coin won't, right? So that makes sense. So yeah, right now, when the market is bullish like it is, I would have a lower percentage in stable coins, but if we hit bear market, you're going to want to have a higher percentage in stable coins and stuff. But I would say it's always good to have some dry powder set aside. Even if your dry powder is in Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let's say you're not in stablecoin, but you're in Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin and Ethereum go down, everything else will go down harder than they will. So if you're in those two, farming with it, you can keep riding it up, and then you can use it as dry powder to buy, say an altcoin goes down a lot, but you believe in this coin and you believe it's going to bounce back good, well, you can put some of your Bitcoin and your Ethereum into that. So that's another way that you can do that. It's fresh pools on DFIN. Can you explain what impermanent loss is? Okay, you guys are making me get scientific. Impermanent loss, in a short, simple explanation, you have two coins in a yield farming pool, and you always have to have 50% to 50% USD value equal 50%. So if one of those coins moves up 10% in value and the other moves up 5%, well, one outperformed the other. So the arbitrageurs will bring an equilibrium to the market until the pool balances, till there's 50% of each. So the coin that pumped harder, you'll end up having fewer of those coins than these coins. And if you withdraw at that moment, you've locked that in. And what impermanent loss is, when you calculate, if you would have had greater gains had you just held those tokens outside of the farming pool than had put them in. So it becomes, there's a lot of variables that tie into it. When you put them in, when you take them out. If you're betting both coins are going to go up and you don't care if you have more than one or the other and you want to just get the rewards, cool, that's what I try to do. I try to have two coins that I like together, so I'm not so concerned if I have more of one than the other, and I'm not sure maybe which one is going to outperform the other. So you're kind of betting on two horses. You have money in both of them, right? But, you know, impermanent loss only locks in once you take your coins out. And that's a greater impermanent loss when you're only collecting fees. If you're in an exchange where you have a lot of fee rewards, it can help. But if you're in an exchange that gets fewer trades or in a pool that gets fewer trades, it's not going to make up for any impermanent loss. That's what rewards are for, right? So, but projects need to be keen about how many rewards they're putting out there, because some of them are just inflating the supply like crazy, and this is just not sustainable. So there's a balance between rewarding your liquidity providers, competing with the other DEXs, and not overinflating your supply. And I imagine that that's experimental. It's very hard to predict because you don't know how much adoption you're going to get or how fast. Is MetaMask better than Trust Wallet? I like MetaMask better because Trust Wallet's owned by Binance. I don't like things owned by centralized entities. But Trust Wallet works well from what I know. I tried it once just because I was making a tutorial video. for a marketing company I work with, but I don't use it. Why would I use it when I can use MetaMask, or I can use Ledger with MetaMask? And so yeah. Okay, so I think we're gonna call it good. That was about an hour stream. I'm willing on these streams to go for 45 minutes to 2 hours, whatever it takes. And so, yeah, have a blessed day. Like I said, comment. I'll choose somebody to win some crypto. And thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Invite your friends if you have any crypto noob friends. All right, guys. Bye-bye.